All right. Once we have the model, we understand the workflows, we understand the users using this, the data, we can start to map systems to find opportunities for improvement. I'm sure you already have systems in place that are doing part of, if not most of this work. There may be some gaps where you'd want to define a new system or add on to an existing system. So this is the opportunity where you define different alternatives as to how you go about structuring your systems to best support the data. One key concept here I'll dive into in a second is which data is managed in which systems. So that's called single source of record or single source of truth. You want to make sure that people aren't getting different answers when they're running a report for one system as to when they're running a report out of a different system, as an example of why that's important. You also want to define and understand the interactions between systems here and how those interrelate. And this is the data that flows between and which system's responsible for each piece of that data. One key concept to talk about is system of record. System of record is the authoritative source for a given data entity. It's the place where an entity is maintained. What we call in the biz is create, update, and delete, or CRUD. It's where the write operations happen to the information or the data. You can have more than one system be a system of record, but you don't want an entity spread across multiple systems if you can help it. If you are doing that, there's some techniques to deal with it, but it takes more work. For each group of related entities, be uber clear which one is the system of record. And when thinking through this, you can think too about the kind of tools that are appropriate, what kind of systems are appropriate for the kind of data we're working with and who's working with it. So we take system here in a loose term. It could be anything from paper or spreadsheets up to complex web applications, handheld devices, etc. But what we find is if it's a small number of people CRUDing and they're working on paper or spreadsheets, it could be a good system of record as long as reporting capability is manual, analysis capability required is minimal, and you don't need a lot of transparency with that information. Access databases or complex spreadsheets can support 1 to 2 people updating the data. It helps automate the reporting capability. It does provide some analysis capability, minimal transparency to stakeholders. Internal databases helps when a lot of people need to get in there and update data. Provides for a lot of reporting capability, good analysis capability for internal staff only, however, it doesn't support stakeholder transparency very well. Databases exposed on the web have many of the same attributes of internal databases, but it does allow you to connect and leverage that data across the web and be transparent with stakeholders. As you all know, though, there's also a cost increase as you go down this list and implement systems further down this list. All right, that's systems and a good technique to assign responsibility to systems and how they relate together. Questions?
We have a question that came in during the quadrant slide. Let me kind of just bring up. It was basically the task analysis, not process analysis. Is that?
Yeah. So process analysis is a formalized technique used in traditional business analysis. So that's going through an entire process and understanding it in great detail. To me, that's kind of rooted in manufacturing process analysis. We feel task analysis is a bit lighter weight. It's more an interview style. And then it also engages key users in helping to prioritize what's important. That's the main difference I see between those two, if that was the question.
They also asked, they kind of clarified a little bit more. How long does the task analysis take?
We've seen them take anywhere from a week to 2 months. It depends on your scope, how many folks you need to go talk to. You can do one pretty quickly if you have everybody in a room, and the scope is constrained. If it's a wider scope with a broader set of people that you need to go talk to, or maybe they're geographically dispersed, so there's some travel involved, that can take more time. But yeah, depends on your situation, but we've seen it go a week to 2 months.
Thank you.
Okay.